I told my psychiatrist Natalie that I no longer feel obsessed about anybody. Natalie understands because Natalie is very clever, and Natalie knows that I only feel the urge to kill when I am fixated about someone, so Natalie signed my discharge papers.
I was so devastated when I came home and found my wife in bed with another man that I left without saying a word. Imagine my shock when I returned the next day and noticed the broken lock.
Today's number is 10, it was 300 a week ago. A year ago it was 1 billion.
The kids decided to play doctor. No one knew they could reach the medicine cabinet.
Accident or not, I've never forgiven my daughter's killer. I've simply been waiting all these years for her to grow up and have a child of her own before taking my revenge.
I used a time machine to travel back to the crucifixion. My blood ran cold when he looked at me and said in perfect English, "You're not supposed to be here."
A pretty girl on the train handed me a box of chocolates with her number written on top. After an hour on the train I texted her, but when I hit send the box began to beep.
I was so excited and relieved when the police officer called to say my 6-year-old daughter had been found in Nevada. My joy turned to horror when he continued on the list with Utah, Oregon, Wyoming, Florida.
The shadowy figure promised me fame, fortune, and love in exchange for the souls of 10 people whom I would never meet. As my wife miscarried for the 6th time, I realized how he was making me pay my debt.
I was embarrassed and creeped out when everyone at the restaurant was staring at me. As I drove home it seemed everyone was staring at me, and when I got home and turned on the game, everyone in the stadium turned to look directly at the camera.
I laughed as I quickly walked away from the shambling zombie horde, wondering how anyone could be stupid enough to be caught by these things. After 4 days of sleepless chasing, I finally collapsed to the floor from exhaustion, the distant groans of my pursuers growing slowly louder.
"One day on this planet is 10 years on Earth," stated the artificial intelligence on the ship. "I was programmed to inform you of this upon completion of your 12-day mission on the planet's surface."
The young girl had dropped her phone under the bed and had to kneel down to get it.
I held my breath, hoping she wouldn't see me.
After being satisfied that I had learned all that I could ever want to know on every topic ever, I unfroze time. Guilt ripped into me when the first person I saw sobbed uncontrollably, saying they were conscious the whole time. I felt embarrassed cleaning myself off after spilling my drink in front of my date. Looking at my nail polish changing color, maybe it was the best for me. I finally succeeded in ending my own life, so no more college, family, or future to worry me. That is what I thought until I opened my eyes in the hospital with a huge medical bill and my family standing over me with disappointment in their eyes. I had just started learning to read lips, so when my mother knelt in front of me, she made sure to mouth the words very slowly. "If you keep this behavior up, I will take your eyes next."
My newlywed wife playfully smeared icing across my cheek, so in return I smashed her face into the cake. As she went limp, I pulled her towards my chest and saw the skewer sticking out of her eye.
I kept assuring my son that it was an accident and he didn't mean to leave his baby brother in the hot car. That was until I found his journal with the entry, "How to get rid of the brat."
As a single father, I was relieved to hear that my daughter had survived the plane crash. When she ran to me at the hospital all disfigured and burned, I turned to the officer and said, "This isn't my daughter."